Ladies and gentlemen, yes, joined by an ace. He's a major ace. He's a guitar ace. He's a slinger. He is out of Nashville. It is the great Tyler Bryant from Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Oh, it's finally great to sit down. We was catching up before we started penning this out, and everything's been going crazy for you guys. We was talking about way back when hanging out with the Cadillac 3 guys and how far you've come. Brand new album. Tell us about it. What is going down?
Man, yeah, those Cadillac boys, no good. Trouble, man. No, I've been longtime friends with those guys, man. And when I first moved to Nashville, I was 17 years old. I moved to Nashville to try and start a rock and roll band, which I successfully did. And my next door neighbor was Jaron from Cadillac 3. So I learned so much about performing and writing songs from him, and we're still homies. But yeah, dude, with the Shakedown, we just put out a new record. It's called Shake the Roots. We're excited about it. It's my favorite Shakedown record to date, and I'm happy to be talking about it.
Oh, it's great, and you've got some great singles on there, and you just went boom with Ain't No Watered Down, and then the rest have followed. And what can I say about this album? I have listened to it. I've listened to some of the album, and I always get blown away by your craftsmanship. But what would you say is different to this to way back when you first started out with the guys? Which direction have you took?
Well, I mean, for me personally, the thing that's so empowering about this album is this is the first album that we actually own in our whole career. We put this album out on our own record label called Rattleshake Records. And so with the Shakedown, we are constantly making music. We're constantly writing and recording, not because we have some end goal. It's never to, let's put this out and let's go for this, or let's go for this playlist, or let's try to get a song on the radio. It's always just, we're doing it because it makes us really happy. Mm-hmm. Music from day one has always made me feel really joyful and really fulfilled. And so I kind of joke with the guys, like with Shake the Roots, it's sort of the record that we finished that we never really started. Like we never sat down to make this record. We just kind of, over the years I've been building out my studio, and if Caleb or Graham, my bandmates, come over and they want to paint, well, I got the brushes ready, So a lot of these were just moments that were captured, and we kind of didn't put a lot of pressure on it. Maybe it's a demo, maybe this is just a cool recording, and we'll uncover it in a couple of years. And then, but before we knew it, we had a bunch of songs that were making us feel really excited, and we started working on the label, and here we are.
No, it's smashing, it really is. And for the people that don't know much about you guys, you've earned your graft from day one of touring hard, supporting, opening slots all over the world. You have hit it hard, and you earned your stripes. I saw you guys, like I said, with Cadillac 3 many, many years ago. God, it's got to be 8-9 years ago. And you guys was on fire then and had a connection. And then I saw you again a little bit later on in your career, and again, people won't know this. You used to be a 4-piece, gone down to a 3-piece. Was that much of a challenge for the new sound?
Well, we have a great touring bass player that's with us now. This guy named Ryan Fitz, and he's great. But yeah, we had Noah Denny, who's still one of my best friends, who is the bass player in the Shakedown forever.
Yeah.
He kind of had this epiphany. I think after his father passed away, his parents had been very supportive of him being a drummer, throughout his youth. And he went to college to be a drummer. He met Caleb there. And then one night, I think he got wild hair and auditioned for the Shakedown. And like 8 years later, kind of was like, dude, I've been playing bass my whole life and I'm a drummer.
That's how it goes.
And for us, we're like, dude, you got to go wherever music is making you feel most alive and fulfilled, and so a lot of the songs that were written and recorded, it was just me playing bass or Graham playing bass, and so that it was certainly something that we noticed and felt, but we didn't let it slow us down at all. And I feel like right now the Shakedown shows are just as good, if not better, than they've ever been. So
I can agree from seeing the reviews, and again, for people that don't know much about you and for the hardcore fans, they are right by saying you guys are a rock band. You put a show on and you play till the end and you give it all. You don't leave anything, on the stage. It's just incredible. You just go crazy for it. And your songwriting seems to mature so much over the last few years with the albums and the singles. And obviously, your lovely lady, for people that don't know, is a great artist in herself, with Larkin Poe, and you've collaborated together before. Are you the kind of guy that pens your stuff, gives it, and say, what do you think? Yeah or no? Do I release this? Do I not? How does it work? Do you ask for advice?
It all happens so organically. Sometimes I think Rebecca and I are both very, if she approaches me and is like, hey, will you help me finish this song? Then I will gladly sit down and jump into that process with her. If she's working on something and I have an idea for it, but I'm not invited in, I have enough respect for her as an artist to just step away and say, you got this. You don't need my help. And I think vice versa, goes for her. Like whenever it happens organically, and like with Ain't None Watered Down, the first song we released, we write songs, in the morning over coffee. It's like, it seems a little bit more rewarding than watching TV sometimes, and, and so like that was just a song we made up in 20 or 30 minutes, and we were kind of just singing it in the living room, and then I went and started making a recording, and that's what is released. So it just happened super organically. There's certainly times where I'll finish a song and I'll send it to my bandmates, or I'll play it for Rebecca. Just the people that are close to me. I've got a small group of friends that I really trust and value their opinions. And I feel very lucky to have friends who go, dude, that song sucks.
Yeah.
And that's, I think it's great to have to not surround yourself with yes men. You don't want people
Completely
that are just
agree.
Constantly going, you got it, dude, you're great. I would rather somebody go, you sound like that was the bridge is like pretty lazy, man. And so I don't have a lot of folks like that, but I got a couple. And if I'm ever not sure about something, I'll lean into that.
No, and again, it's just one of those things where, unfortunately, there is a lot of yes people and a lot of ass kickers, and people also want to suck up because it's Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown. You guys have earned your stripes, like I mentioned before. And talking about friends, God, you've played with everybody. You are connected with quite a lot of people now. And way back when you were starting out, the famous legendary photographer Robert M. Knight, that guy was there. He introduced you to a few big cats, and before you know it, you are in his documentary, which was my first discovery of you guys, and next minute you are literally playing the Keep. And what's it like when these kind of people actually come up to you and say, look, you've got this, ignore this, let's do this? What's it like getting that advice?
Oh, I mean, it's great, especially if it's I've had so much encouragement from artists that I really respect. It's one thing to get encouragement from someone in the industry. It's another thing to get some encouragement from an artist or a songwriter that you really respect. Like whenever Jeff Beck invited me to come play with him, that was sort of like, okay, he doesn't think I suck. This is great. It's great news. Or like when we got the AC/DC Rocker Bus Tour, we got asked to come out and support them on the world tour. And that was such a learning experience because we were not ready, you know what I mean? And so we kind of got thrown into the deep end, and I got to go and ask Angus.
I really do. What about people like when you go on tour with like AC/DC and Guns N' Roses? You've got a vocal guy what still sounds amazing, Steven Tyler, and again, just touching on how you said you wasn't ready. How do you know as a band that you're not ready though? Because you're there doing it, and somebody's put you there because they think you can do the job. But how do you personally know that you can't do that?
Well, I mean, I think musically, I felt confident that we could do it. I mean, we weren't ready for like like this is the first show we did with AC/DC. I had a 20-foot guitar cable connected to my pedal board, and I didn't take into consideration that the stage is about as long as a football field. And so I take off running, and I'm dragging my gear across the stage behind me, pulling amps down. And, it just took us a second to realize, like, all right, cool. We got to get a crew. We got to get, dude, you'll think that this is actually a hilarious story. There was one time on that Rocker Bus World Tour where we pulled our van and trailer down into like the tunnel below this stadium, and the van broke down. And AC/DC's motorcade was coming in right behind us. So people are trying to push our van out of the way so AC/DC doesn't have to wait behind our shitty van, And so we ended up getting a bus after that.
Oh, crazy. It's one of those moments where you're like, oh my God, if I could die and go down, I'm going down right now, and this is not the coolest thing to do. But
no, it was just, it's sort of like, we realized that we were kind of like barking with the big dogs a little bit, and we kind of had to dump the puppy chow out pretty fast.
Yeah, and oh dear me. And when you look back on it, it's a hilarious moment, because it's one of them things what you think so Spinal Tap, and then it has happened, and you're like, okay, well, we've been there. But I guess it makes you stronger in the end, and you're ready for anything, when shit does hit the fan on the stage, you're ready for it, Oh.
Dude, I really do think it's all part of it, and the older I get, the more I've come to appreciate things like that, little moments that don't go quite as you planned, because that's just life, everyone. Yeah. I think especially a lot of musicians try to put on this sort of larger than life persona, which is great, but also it's sort of like a lot of the artists I really relate to are just artists that come across as real people who are like, yeah, I mean, that's how it went down, and you can laugh about it, and it's really not a big deal even in the moment. It's just like, well, yeah, dude, this is the first time we've ever done anything like this. Of course we're gonna, and everyone on that tour was so cool to us, and so understanding, and actually really helped us to grow and learn how to do things the right way. And I think we came out better for it,
No, absolutely, and I agree with you there. When you do go on stage and when you do perform with all the guys, you aren't putting on a fake show. It's who you are. You feel the music, and you love the music, and you are generally music fans, like you said. You dig the sounds. And coming in from Nashville, then are you one of those musicians what wants to try and stay away from the cliche Nashville sound? Obviously, how do you manage to do that with being in Nashville? Because I guess the influence is huge.
Well, I mean, I chose to move to Nashville because it's music city. There's a ton of music here. There's a ton of rock and roll. There's a ton of country music. There's like modern country music, and then there's real country, like classic country music. There's hip hop. There's pop. There's all sorts of music. So Nashville has really developed into music city, not just country music city. But with that said, I don't. I've never been like a Music Row guy. Like I don't go take a lot of meetings on Music Row. Like our booking agents don't live in Nashville. Our management doesn't live in Nashville. Our team is sort of smattered about all over the place. And when I'm home, I'm pretty much in my own world, and I'll invite artists that I love over to my studio, or songwriters that I love over to my studio, and when I first moved to Nashville, I was 17, and I started writing with everybody, doing the 9 to 5 writing sessions. Yeah, and that wasn't really for me, I think for me, I'm more excited about getting together with somebody in a room where I can't hear somebody in the room next to me trying to come up with a song about a boat or something. So I like to get into rooms with people that I'm inspired with and turn it up and swing for the fence and imagine a crowd out in front of me and imagine how it's going to translate. And then, like with Shake the Roots, with a lot of these songs, that's exactly what it was. You're closing your eyes and going to this place where all of a sudden you're on stage and the crowd's there and they're singing the song back to you. And then, like at our album release show the other night in Nashville, it was people from all over America. Like there were people from New York, from Kentucky, from Georgia, from Texas, that traveled to Nashville to be there to celebrate the release of this record, and to hear them sing the songs, and it's like
about.
when that moment actually becomes real, it's really rewarding. And so that's, to me, Nashville has provided me that opportunity. Even through the experiences that didn't work for me, it helped lead me to knowing what I want out of music and out of my life and out of my creativity. And I love it here. I think it's a brilliant city. So if people listen to me and say it sounds like Nashville, then I would be happy about that.
No, I like it a lot. And you just got your head on your shoulders, and you songwrite with a lot of people. You produce a lot of stuff with other artists, which is great, and it just shows you the craftsmanship that you've got. And I'm looking forward to the future, and I've got to congratulate you on this album. It's stunning, it's great, and you own it, which is amazing. So we celebrate that as well. It's just one of the things which is great. It's not every day you get to own the record. It's fantastic, and again, for the listeners and readers, everything is on your socials. Go and get the album, and it's been absolute blast speaking to you, Mr. Tyler Bryant. It's been fantastic.
Hey man, it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you when we come near you.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, go and check it out. Yeah, it is Mr. Tyler Bryant from the Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown.